Welcome back to Two and a Half Chicks. In this episode, we talk about cohabitating. It's challenging enough anytime you move in with someone. It's even more so when you're older and set in your ways. What are those little things that you have to get used to? Some of them cause the most ridiculous arguments. We talk about living with someone with kids that aren't yours and at different ages. How does sex change when you live together? We storytell in detail about all of our experiences, and as usual, those experiences are pretty varied. What do you miss when you no longer cohabitate? Tune in this episode where we converse about the challenges of living with someone with lots of honesty and lots of humor. Hey everyone, welcome back to Two and a Half Chicks. It's me, Tess, and Monica, and Brian.
Hey. Hello.
And we are back to talk tonight about, what are we going to talk about tonight? Let me see. We're going to talk about how life changes based on relationships that you're in, and when those relationships change based on your life circumstances, like living with somebody versus not living with somebody, and how all that changes. And if it changes, if it's different based on what status your life is in, like how young you are, how old you are, kids, no kids. Monica, help me out here. What else are we going to cover?
So we wanted to talk about how, in terms of a progression of a relationship where you're living apart and then all of a sudden you decide to either get married or start living together, and go into like, how does that change for the couple? What problems can they encounter? What challenges they have to overcome. It's been a long time for me since I've lived with anyone. And when that happened to me many, many years ago, I remember the first time I lived with someone, it was hard for me. So I imagine now, I've been single for 12 years. I imagine now that if I decide to live with someone, it's going to be pretty hard for me.
An adjustment for sure.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. So I wanted to go into, what does that mean for everyone and what our experiences have been with respect to that? Because we've all had that, whether we had it 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago.
10 minutes ago.
Yeah, and it also depends on the partner you're with, compatibilities.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
All different. There's so many ways to go on that one, for sure.
The topic, I guess, overall in a nutshell is going from single to living together or coupling up.
That's a good summary.
And I like to think that I was the inspiration for this, Monica.
You were.
Well, why don't you tell our audience why, Brian?
So I recently just moved in with M. We decided to cohabitate together. I've been living alone for 6 years now. She's been living alone for 6 years.
Wow. Same amount of years.
Hers by death. She wound up, alone via being a widow. But we dated for like 8 months, and we decided, you know what? It's not just a great idea economically, but we really, really enjoy each other so much, and we have such a great time together. We decided, let's do this. So I moved out of my place, she moved out of her place, and within 1 weekend, we were living together. And then, boom, reality hit.
In what way?
Like I said, not so bad. This is like, you have to remember, people, right? If you live alone, like Monica said, for a certain period of time, you get stuck in your ways. So I was single. So I was able to go out, and I was dating, and I was doing this and that and everybody. And what turns into, you come into a cohabitation with somebody and your whole life changes. Like now, I went from single to everything neat and in its place to living with somebody and everything not so neat. And we just moved in, so mind you, but now I have, a child in my life, a 6-year-old, and a dog. And if you listen...
And you've never lived with a child,
No,
right?
I've never lived with a child. Only myself. So if anybody's ever listened to our past episodes...
You're the only child?
I'm the only child. If they listen to our past episodes, like pet peeves, they heard me say, I will never own a fucking dog. And now I have a dog.
You did say that. You did say you would never own a dog, but you kind of like... It's really, as far as I'm concerned, it's not your dog.
It's not my dog. And like I said, everybody that knows me knows I want this dog out of my life already. So...
Yeah.
It's
harder than the kid.
It's just as bad. So
okay.
For me, like Monica, you nailed it when we were talking about like your kitchen. So metaphorically and realistically speaking, for me, like we had to just combine silverware. We had an argument on our first kind of day because I have 6 plates and she has 12, or I don't even know. It could be even more than that. And I'm like, it's you and your daughter. What do you need 12 plates for? What, do you have dinner parties on the weekend? No. So I'm like, I just have 6. Let's just narrow it down. Well, she also likes to load the dishwasher. I like to wash the dishes at the end of every meal. So now I understand why she has 12 plates, because 9 of them are in the dishwasher at any minute. And they're not clean yet.
Yep.
So you have to wait to pack the dishwasher. So it's a very frustrating thing. So it takes some getting used to. I will say that
Especially later in life.
Yeah. I'm 52 years old and I got a 6-year-old and a dog, I'm telling you, it's tough. It's really tough. And then because of all like the move and like the stress of work and everything, the depression, like the sex, we thought we would be like, woo, we're going to be having sex all the time. Nope, that ain't happening.
Give it time.
Thank goodness for her, because she is awesome. You guys know her personally. You know her. And the other night, she's like, honey, I know you're stressed out. And she had her monthly visitor. And she says, I'll be right back. She goes and she gets some lube and she just works me. And I was like, this is the greatest woman on the planet. I didn't ask for it.
Right.
She just said, he's so stressed out. Let me take care of it. Yeah, she's awesome. So, that's the benefits of living together. It's not often where somebody just comes off and just wants to give you a hand job. It was awesome. It was wonderful. I felt the love. So, yeah,
that's awesome.
I got to keep her. I talk about all the negative, but there are so many positives.
But you wouldn't be doing this if there wasn't.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
We really thought it out, too. Even though we didn't know each other for a long period of time, we thought it out thoroughly. And we just weighed the pros and the cons. But, for the most part, it was thought out decision.
And just thinking about your previous girlfriends, Brian, there's a marked difference with your current one in that you tried to move in or tried to make plans to move in with your previous girlfriends.
That's correct.
That's a good
and
point.
they just kept putting excuses upon excuses upon excuses and say yes, 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 yes. But then when the time came, it was like, no, not now,
Right.
not here. Like, just kept putting it off.
Yeah, my last girlfriend, right, Monica, she said to me, she came up with the...
She's going to buy a house for you.
Yes, exactly. She was going to buy a house. And then at the last minute, no, I changed my mind. And then she told me, you can't live with me until the kids are 25. I was like, what the F does that mean?
Oh, jeez.
She's like, me and my ex...
Because they had to go to college.
Yeah, me and my ex decided that until the kids are out of college, you can't live with anybody. And I thought... Boy, that is so fucking stupid.
That's controlling each other after divorce, if you ask me.
Yeah, I agree. It was a silly thing. But you know what?
Hey, no ex of mine would control my livelihood,
No,
that's for sure.
but it all worked
or
out.
my love life.
Oh, yeah.
It completely worked out.
Back to your point, Brian, about let's just focus on the kitchen, I guess, for now.
Yeah.
It is so true because the kitchen is almost like the symbol of authority, the true authority in the house. I know that in the old days, the man was the man of the house, the woman was the woman of the house. But whoever controls the kitchen controls the house. Whether it be
Really?
subtly, I think so.
I think so too.
It's where you make the food. It's where you set up all the stuff that, for
explain that
cooking.
one.
I can
a little
explain
bit.
it real quick. Here's an example. This just happened the other day. So I called her up earlier. I said, I'm going to be making some meatballs. Okay, so my meatball process.
Damn good recipe is all I gotta say.
It is.
And it's a process, Tess. You've witnessed it, right? It doesn't take 10 minutes. It takes like an hour, maybe a little bit longer, right? There's a lot that goes into it. And I use all fresh herbs, everything. So I'm in the kitchen. So I'm doing my thing. I got the pot, got the sauce running. I got everything going. Now she decides she has to cook for the kid, which makes perfect sense, right? But in my thought process, in my frame of mind, it's like, I gave you warning that I will be in the kitchen. So try not to invade my space. So she decides, well, I'm just going to make some hamburgers. And not really thinking, I wasn't really thinking because I was focused on my balls, like I usually am. So she takes 2 frozen patties, like those Bubba type burgers or something like that, and she puts them on a cookie tray. She sticks them in the oven and she puts them on broil from frozen, right? So now I'm not really paying attention. And she all of a sudden says, it smells like something's burning. I was like, no. I open up the oven right before I'm supposed to stick my meatballs in the oven. And these burgers are flaring up and they're spitting all over the place, making a huge mess. And I yelled, What the hell are you thinking? I can't believe you would do something like that. You should have asked me. And then I took the stuff out of the oven and I put it on the sink and she walks out. She's pissed.
Okay, but how did they get burned? Wasn't she watching them?
Well, no, she
Or
was
was she not cooking them according to package directions?
I don't even know. I don't know. Anybody
It takes
that's
a lot for them to get burned.
well, I know this. You usually don't
I don't
broil those frozen, all greasy burgers. I told her,
it's the broiler.
yeah, the broiler. It was the broiler. So it was like, and I got pissed, and I wasn't mad at her per se. I was just mad at like, why didn't you ask me? But then it made it sound like I was trying to be like, oh, look at me, I'm a man, listen to
Yeah.
me. So she got pissed and she stormed out. She came back down, and all I could think to say was, "Are you still mad?" And she told me,
Oh my God.
"Fuck off." And I was like, "Excuse me?"
Oh no, sweet little M.
Yeah, and that flared me up so bad.
Wow.
I understand she was pissed. I get it. But I said to her,
There's no challenge then
yeah.
like living with somebody.
Yeah, and I told her, look, I would never say that to you. I would never. I was upset at the situation. I was upset at the flaring, and I did say, why didn't you ask me? No, of course you don't have to ask me anything. We live together. This is your kitchen too. But I thought, like, from my point of view, I was like, I'm making the balls. I basically said, I'm allotting my
This is
time.
my project.
Yeah, it's my project. I'm
Yeah.
putting in my notice for time that I need. Don't stay out of it. You should have asked me. I would have fried up the burgers for you while I was there. I'd put them on the stovetop, or I could have put the grill outside and done it that way. But then we got into it about the F off thing. And I was like, whoa, I said, this is not going to work. If you're going to talk
One
to me,
argument turned into a completely different one,
yes,
right?
exactly. So you're going to talk
Yeah.
to me that way? This is not going to work. And then she got mad at me for saying that.
Yeah, because once you start talking to each other like that, it becomes common. and
Exactly.
You don't want it to become habit.
And that's exactly what happened. And then later on, she came down, I'm really sorry I told you to fuck off. And then, I laughed it off because I was like, I said, my point was, I don't want people to talk like that and get used to talking like that. It's just not right.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
the bottom line was we got over it. And, she's like, I was just a little disappointed because I feel like you can dismiss me so quickly, like saying this isn't going to work. I said, I wasn't saying that. I was saying it's not going to work if we continue to have conversations and arguments like that. You need to learn how to argue with somebody. You can disagree. You just can't make it personal. You can't tell somebody to fuck off. You can't say you're a fucking dummy. You can't, make it personal. Don't, pick things out on them. Talk about the situation at hand. You could be fiery about it. That's fine. You can use the curse words, but just don't direct them at people. It's tough. It's a learning experience.
For sure.
It is. It is. Oh, okay. I don't know what else to say.
I know, right? There's nothing else to say. That's what happened.
What about you, Tess?
Geez, my situation? Good Lord. I mean, I have so many different experiences with going from single to living with somebody. I had the ex-husband situation. Then I had a live-in boyfriend right before my husband. I couldn't live with the guy 2 months without breaking up with him. Then I had my husband situation. That was interesting because we cohabitated a lot earlier than we would have normally because of circumstances. And then add my complicated life today and adding another person in and kind of cohabitating between our homes. I've had a lot of experience with this topic. So where do I jump on?
Well, I got a question. You said that you cohabitated with your husband far before you should have. Was it a shotgun wedding?
Oh,
No. It's just that, he was fresh out of a marriage with a 2 and a 4-year-old, and he was living in a place that wasn't really suitable for the kids. So he ended up, moving in with me 6 months after we started dating because it was just better for the kids. And we were together whenever he didn't have them anyway. Like, we were always together when he didn't have them. But it was just very quick.
Right.
And the funny thing is, when I first moved in with him, I remember thinking, this is really fucking weird because this guy doesn't do anything to annoy me. Like, he never, I didn't find it annoying to have him around. Of course, now it's been 23 years, and of course that's changed. But in the beginning.
Sure, for both of you.
Yes, definitely for both of us. No two ways about it. I definitely am a humble soul when it comes to knowing that I'm hard to live with too. Everybody is, right, to some degree.
Right.
But it was just so funny how when I first moved in with him, I thought, wow, this is so easy. Nothing he does annoys me. But I think that was just because we moved in so soon. We were still in that honeymoon phase,
Yeah. Well, we moved in real quick, and within 3 minutes we
Yeah,
were
you
arguing.
did.
The honeymoon phase is real quick when you get to be, older.
I mean, we had very hard circumstances in the beginning because it was a blended family right off the bat, and we argued. It was like when I said that, he doesn't do anything to annoy me. I meant like around the house. You know, like I meant like the living together part.
Like
there was
putting
nothing
the
really-
closet clothes in a certain way, or like not lowering the seat, stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean,
little stuff like that.
Like my ex wasn't as neat as my current husband. So like there's times where his clothes would be on the floor and I'd step on them and I'd break the hanger that was underneath it, and it would annoy me, like stuff like that. But Tim never does that. Like he never leaves clothes all over the floor, and he's pretty neat. You know, I mean,
don't come into this house. We're gonna argue a lot.
Yeah,
geez.
I mean, you know, I'm a little bit more fastidious, but that's just my nature. But I can't complain. But yeah, I think there's always things you have to get used to when you start cohabitating with somebody at any age and any relationship status, for sure. Like I said, I had a relationship right before my husband that I was dating the guy for a while, and I guess I don't know why we decided to move in together. God bless it, I have no idea. And I signed the lease of the house we were renting, and I wasn't living with him 2 months where I was like, I got to get the fuck out of here. Like, this ain't right. And he was mad at me. He was like, you made a commitment. You moved in with me. And I'm like, I don't care if I married you.
Yeah.
It's not right. It's not right. Like, you can't, you know. So anyway, it took me another month to get off the lease. Luckily, the landlord was cool and let me off. But yeah, it was crazy.
I've heard of people nowadays who decide to live together. They're living together as a couple. Then they realize they're not for each other, but they can't break the lease. So then they separate, but they still live together
Roommates.
in the place that they leased.
Yeah, well, that's
Yeah.
fair.
Can't afford to.
Because Em and I made talked about this, Monica, and said, look, if this doesn't work, we will be cordial to each other. There are 4 bedrooms now in this house. You take the master, I'll take the guest room. It's not like it's not happened before in my life where I've been in the guest room. So, like, I am not going to risk either of our happiness because we live together. You know what I mean? Like, I'll be respectful and I will live out this lease and I will pay the bills. I will do that if this wasn't to work out, which I'm hoping this works out. I don't see any problems. But if it doesn't, we had that conversation and we were very mature about it and said, you know, it looks good on paper, right? You can say all those things, but when the time comes, you got to see what happens.
Well, you know, it's funny that shows a maturity in age too, because younger people would just get upset of somebody even suggesting that it couldn't
Very
work out.
true.
You know,
That's true.
but you know, you just being real that you know you don't know what's going to happen down the line, and you know it's good to discuss it before you move in. I think.
So, Monica, how about you? Let's just say you met somebody and you decided this is going great, and would you ever suggest you can move into my house, or do you feel like you would have to get rid of your place and you guys would do a place together?
Oh, I wouldn't have a problem with them moving into my house. I would actually prefer it. I don't have to move any of my stuff. And I'll just make room for him.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's crazy. I mean, I have my house is not that big, but I do have a 5-bedroom cottage, I guess you would call it.
I think that's so funny when she says, my house isn't that big. It's 5 bedrooms.
Yeah.
It's not like a mansion. It's not like a mansion. I don't have like a huge family room or
Yes,
a
you
huge
do.
backyard. It's not acres. It's only a quarter of an acre.
No, I'm saying your house is big, though. I mean, it's
pretty. It's big, but it's not like crazy big. But I would prefer that I let somebody move in.
So you're saying
At
there's
least when my boys are away at college. Like, they're not here all the time. I can understand they come back if I'm living with someone and they come back during the holidays, you know, temporary, and then they go back to school. But I don't know. I just would feel awkward
So if your kids were going to
having my boys
college,
living here.
if your kids were going to college, but they still lived at home, you'd feel weird having somebody live with you.
I would, but it wouldn't stop me.
Okay.
I would not have somebody live with me right now while they're still here full time.
Boy, I'm
because
not
my
like that.
Okay.
No, I'm not like that
Number
either.
one.
Kid sees it all.
Number one, I think they would be a source of anxiety between me and whoever my partner is, because they are very messy. My boys are messy. And I can yell at them, and it gets to the point where it's like, okay, I can't yell at them all day long. I don't want to be mad all day long.
Yeah, no,
So
I know the
I'll
feeling.
just tell them, okay, can you please remember next time again to pick up your socks?
Again?
Don't leave your socks here. Don't leave your shirt here.
Wait, you're talking about your kids or a potential lover? Or
no, my kids.
Oh.
My kids are messy. The toys.
Yeah,
my daughter was pretty good.
That makes sense.
She doesn't have to worry about having somebody move in because the milkman delivers. Okay.
Yeah. Well, but she might want love eventually. And
I do.
like
I do
to settle down
eventually.
with. Yeah.
Because of my boys the way they are, and they're in their own world. And I've told them already, when you guys move out and you leave me alone, I'm going to keep my house clean. But if you ever tell me that you are going to have to temporarily move back into my house for whatever reason, you cannot act the way you act right now. You're going to have to be super neat, super clean, because you will be adults, complete adults by then. And if you decide to move back in with me, it's a whole
There'll
different
be some
story.
rules, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, there'll be more rules, and they're going to have to pay rent.
I don't understand why those rules don't apply now, but...
Because they're old enough.
Because they're old enough.
I know.
They are old enough, but they're not, I think, in a way.
Well, Monica...
so I went, this is a funny story. I went to Reno a few weeks ago, right? I put in big bold letters on the board on the fridge, keep the house clean, take out the garbage, wash the dishes, right? So I came back that Saturday night, and the sink wasn't that bad. It was, but there were dirty dishes in it. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. So I asked my older son, I said, did you guys wash dishes? He's like, so I left Tuesday and I came back Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't there all day Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And my older son says, yeah, I washed dishes on Thursday.
Yeah. I bought paper plates on Friday.
That's exactly what my son would do. Yep. Paper plates, yeah.
So I'm just sitting there like, okay, I got, clean dishes one day of that week. Okay.
So the funny thing is my son's been away now for 4 months, and now he's back for a visit.
Oh.
Ooh.
And I see a big difference already.
In you or him?
No, him.
Okay.
Is he cleaner? Is he more neat?
I mean, his room's still a little messy right now, but like he is like before he wouldn't get up and go to the store and get something if he wanted it. He was too lazy. And now the other day he comes down, he's like, I need some stuff for my bathroom. I'm running to Rite Aid. He's just like, he's just different. He's just more independent.
Aww.
And I can already see the difference from him being gone to college for 4 months,
Yeah.
Okay, now I can't wait till they leave. Maybe they'll come back better.
Well, it depends on when they leave, what their life looks like, right? And he's getting ready to rent his own apartment for college in August. So that's going to be even more responsibility. So it's interesting. But I have to clarify earlier when I was talking about my son, I said my son sees everything. That's not entirely true.
Well, yeah, we figured as much. We were trying to read between the lines.
Yeah, but
he knows what happens. He doesn't literally see it.
But what I mean is, like, if I got people in my life, because obviously I have more than one, he's like, okay. He goes with the flow. Mm-hmm. I don't feel like there's people that worry about telling their adult kids about their love life. And I don't have to worry about that because he's like, hey, if you're happy, great. And if I say I'm not seeing this person anymore, he'd be like, about whatever. Like if my love life changes, he'd be like, okay, whatever makes you happy. Mm-hmm. Like he's not scarred by anything I do. So that's what I said by he sees everything. I don't have to hide things from him. I don't have to worry about him I don't have to worry about having people over. He doesn't care.
Yeah.
And they sleep over and everything and he knows they sleep over. Okay.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
It's her house.
Okay.
It's her house.
That's my house.
That's right. You do what you want.
He's very respectful, and my guests are respectful to him, and so I don't worry about telling my son what's going on in my love life because it doesn't hurt him if it doesn't work out. He's just like, okay, just wants me to be happy,
Mm-hmm. I could take that point from you for my sons. Because they know I'm dating. They know I'm looking.
Yeah.
They just don't know, like, the milkman comes over or when he comes over. But I think if
they don't know that, Monica? They don't know the milkman?
They don't know him yet, no.
So wait, you have him over, but they're not home when you do?
Yes,
or?
That's correct.
Oh. So they're gone enough?
Yeah, they're gone enough to school and stuff. Honestly, if they find out, they won't be upset. They won't say anything to me either. They won't be disappointed or whatever. They'll just be like, oh, okay. TMI, mom, TMI, and then
that's the thing. your kids don't really want to think of you in that way.
Yeah.
That's like, I've even told my son, I'm like, he knows about the podcast, and I'm like, don't listen to it if you don't want to hear me talk about sex. That's it.
See, like
whatever.
my kids know about the podcast.
It's on you if you do.
Yeah. All of them know about the podcast. I don't want them to listen to it, but they know about it.
Do they know what it's called and how to find it?
Yes, they do.
Oh, that surprises me, Monica.
Yeah, they do.
The other day, going back on topic of living with somebody for the first time, I'm standing, I get out of the shower because the master bedroom, there's a door that separates the master bath and our bedroom from the rest of the hallway, the house. So I keep forgetting that not that I keep forgetting, but I don't lock the door. So I got out of the shower and I got out. I got out of a bath. I took a really hot bath and I got out and I was air drying. I was cooling off and I was in the bedroom and the door opened real quick and M walks in and I literally almost had a heart attack thinking it was the kid. Because I'm like, and I started kind of getting upset and I was like, this is what I'm talking about. I got no privacy anymore. I said, I can't believe I got to worry. I said, I'm walking around on damn eggshells. But this kid just walks around the house. She's not allowed in the room anymore. She's like, just lock the door. And I was like, oh, okay. I guess that's a pretty simple solution, right?
It is a good solution. And if the door doesn't have a lock, you go buy one.
Yeah.
That's what we did.
But I got to tell you.
We added another additional lock to our bedroom door.
Can you also tell the little girl to knock on the door if it's not
Wait till
open?
it opens.
You guys are women who had children. Do you think it's possible to tell a 6-year-old anything that gets absorbed?
I do.
Really?
I do. My boys. So
if there's a
I've
consequence if they do it, yeah.
I have never locked my door in my bedroom either, and I obviously walk around in my bedroom naked. But my boys know that since they're very little, that if they see the door closed, it's because I'm not, in a good state. And so they always knock before they enter. Now, if my door is wide open, yeah, they can come in at any time because it's wide open. I'm there.
I feel like this is you can't
But-
teach an old dog new tricks right now. This kid
At
is
6?
Yeah, because I think it's ingrained to her. She can walk around anywhere and do anything, and she's never been
Yeah,
told
but life
no.
has changed now. You have an opportunity, Brian, because her circumstances have changed.
I've been taking these opportunities.
There's a new person
Trust
living in
me,
the house,
there is
right?
a new sheriff in town, and he's a pain in the ass. I mean, I tell you, you guys know, I talk about it all the time. I'm a fucking pain in the ass. Don't do this. My whole world is don't do this. I'm going to get a t-shirt that says don't do this. And then you fill in the blank. Because that poor kid's got to hear me say it 20 times a day.
I think that with you guys moving in together, it's an opportunity to change some of the rules.
Yeah, that's what we've been doing. That's what it is. But she's right, though. Lock the door. See, these are the kind of things. But this is the kind of anxiety that I'm living with. It's like every time I turn around, I have to clean up a spill. Because that kid, for some reason, even if you can have a bulletproof sippy cup, and it doesn't work. And so, you wind up cleaning up the mess. Then, I joke around, you give her a cookie, there's crumbs everywhere. You give her a broccoli, it's healthy, it's nice. She eats the little florets off the top, and they fall all over the place. She doesn't eat the rest of the broccoli. This kid, is so messy.
Brian, she's like all kids.
Yeah, I know. Exactly. But I'm just learning that I'm getting used to this,
Yeah.
And then the poor dog looks at me, and the dog is actually better than the kid.
Dog's like, at least drop something besides broccoli.
Yes, and I look at the dog, and I blame the damn dog for stuff. It's like, stop looking at me.
Oh my God, Brian.
That's hilarious.
Oh. I'm out there. I took for instance, this evening I got home from work. The dog comes down the steps staring at me. I take him out for a walk. I gotta put my hand in a bag and clean up dog shit. You want to know how degrading that is as a human being to have to clean up dog shit?
Only for you.
Yes.
Brian, it's not.
None of us care about
I don't care.
I don't
It's
care
fine.
either. It's just part of having a pet.
Oh. And she says, I'll do it. But I feel like you're not doing it enough. You know what I mean? So it's like, then I feel like I have to do it.
You mean she won't clean it up as often?
She won't take the dog out enough or take it here. So I feel bad. The dog gets zero attention. I hate to say it, but
So you still have a heart for the dog.
it's not really. It's just I don't want. I feel bad for it. It's not like if the dog left tomorrow, I wouldn't miss it a minute. It would never even cross my mind to miss that animal. But while it's in my face, I'm like, all right, I'll take it for a walk. Jesus Christmas,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, you took my dog for walks.
That was just for peace and quiet. And she said to me, "Did you just take Tessa's dog for a walk?" That's just for peace and quiet. And that's the reason I take the dog out now. It's just because I just want to,
Yeah.
I don't put my phone on.
Fresh air.
I don't look at my phone. I just put the phone away and I take the dog for a walk for fresh air. That's it.
Yeah.
And maybe that's what I need to do more of. You know?
Yeah, maybe you'll actually form a bond with him.
That's not going to happen.
Okay. Well, I was just trying to be optimistic.
Yeah. So, like I said, this living together came with a whole bunch of things that I knew about, but really didn't understand the gravity of how difficult it was going to be. You know?
Yeah.
And she's having, she's going through some stuff with her dad too. Her dad's not well, and he's in a facility.
Yeah, that doesn't help.
And she's got that stress, and she's got the stress of me. For instance, she told me the other day, she goes, I felt so bad because I was late getting, the kid to work yesterday because I was so worried. I used the new toast. I bought her a brand new toaster oven. I used the new toaster oven, and it had crumbs in it, and I was so paranoid that you were going to yell at me for being messy that I was cleaning it, and I was late bringing the kid to work, and I was like,
Brian,
I'm so fucking horrible.
That's awful.
I know. This is what it's like, right? And I told her, I'm so sorry. Make a mess then.
So it's an adjustment for her too.
Yes,
obviously.
100%.
Yeah.
You need to get Brian a Dirt Devil, one of those Black & Decker dirt busters or dust busters, whatever they're called. Those things are amazing. Any little thing, you have it there, and anytime the baby or the little girl spills something or anything, just there you go.
I need to get a 40-year-old live-in nanny. That's what I need to get.
It's very specific, 40-year-old.
Yeah, because he won't go for her.
Yeah.
Because he won't go for her? Why?
I won't go for her. I need someone a little bit older, a little more mature. I need someone that just will follow that child around and just constantly clean up after her. That's what I need.
Get the dustbuster. I think it's the Black & Decker.
That's cheaper, Monica. Is that cheaper?
Yeah, it's $50.
It's cheaper than a nanny.
To $80, and you have it. You could, and it has a little bracket that you can hang on the wall, and you lift it up and
okay,
everything right up.
All right, I'll work on that.
Or or have her pick it up. Here, this is how you use this.
So she drops the cup. She drops it.
Well, that's another thing. I was going to say that earlier when you were talking about the broccoli and stuff. You gotta get her over to help you clean it up.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good thing to start doing.
Have you seen a 6-year-old try to clean something up?
Well,
it just pushes the mess in every direction.
It's not about her doing it right.
It's one or two florets, and then you pick up the rest. That's fine. Eventually, she'll get more and more.
It's not even about her doing it right. It's more about her learning that you have to clean up after yourself, and it makes you more conscious of your mess. I remember when my son was little and we went to the donut store. We were sitting there he was eating his donuts, and after I told him to get a napkin and then clean the table for the next person that comes in, and these two elderly ladies that were sitting at the next table stopped me when I was on my way out of the store and thanked me for teaching my kid consideration.
Nice.
Because so many parents just walk away and leave the table messy for the next person. So anyway, she may not understand it at this age, but eventually she will.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just patiently teach her.
I'm trying.
And it's not she's not in trouble.
No.
It's just something that you're just teaching
her. It's only
her.
been a week, and I'm trying. Em said to me,
she
said to me today, I said, look, I'm sorry. I am a huge point of stress for you. I get it. You know what I mean? She's like, well, you are trying. And this is what I love about her. You are trying so hard. I appreciate the effort you give every single day. I know it's hard for you. I know this is difficult.
Sweet.
And she says, between my dad, the baby, the dog, the stuff isn't put away, and it's only been a week, so the stuff's not as neat as you would like it. She said, I just want you to know that all of the stuff that you say about yourself, like being a pain, yes, you are a pain and everything, but your good so far outweighs any of that pain in the butt. You make my life so much better. And I was like, oh. Man, this is why I moved in with her. It makes me remind, this is why.
You'll always be successful in a relationship if you can see the other person's perspective or see the good, right?
Yep.
And choose to see the good. Even there's going to be times you fight, but you come back and you take responsibility for your behavior and you appreciate them for theirs, and it's a constant process.
It is.
Of that.
So let me change topics now. So Tess, you're an empty nester now, okay? So how has that changed your world as far as your freedom now, and like you pretty much. It sounds like when you were with the boy, you had freedom anyway, but now you have pure freedom.
Yeah, I mean, I had freedom in the sense that I could have over who I wanted and such, but now I have freedom all over the house. That's pretty good freedom to have, right? So it's kind of like we both really like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's funny too because he's back right now, and first couple of days I was like weird hearing him in the house because it's amazing in 4 months how quickly you get used to.
You forget those kids. See how quickly you can forget your children, your own children. You can forget them.
You don't forget them.
No, you don't forget them. I mean, I miss them terribly, but by the same token, I got used to the quiet, and I don't. It's nice to hear him.
Mm-hmm.
But the house freedom it's really nice. It's really nice to be able to walk around the way you want and do what you want in any room, and it's really nice, and it adds a sense of adventure to the relationship.
Is it like hotel sex?
Not necessarily, but it's just we all get into, like, I think long-term relationships, you all get into a rut, right? Of going upstairs together and then brushing your teeth and then getting ready for bed. You don't have to always go through the routine before sex. Like, it's really about remembering that passion that you used to have when your relationship was younger, where it was like, let's just have sex on the couch because we're here and we're wanting each other right now. Like, when you have kids, a lot of times you gravitate to your private space. So I think that there's just a real sense of adventure when you don't have to worry because the whole house is your private space.
Interesting.
I think that's the difference.
I just started this relationship, and I feel like I've been like 20 years already.
But the thing is that, Brian, you had that freedom before by living alone for all those years. You had that where you could.
I did. And you know what I did?
You had like the empty nester syndrome.
But you know what
right?
I did, Tess? I still went and brushed my teeth and then went to bed. And then I like that routine.
I do
you
too.
Mean when you were single?
Yes.
You mean when you were single and had women over?
Yes, I like that routine.
I don't know. There's sometimes where it's like when you go upstairs and it's like if he's brushing his teeth and then he notices, oh, he's got hairs that need to be trimmed and he's trimming them because if he doesn't do it now, he might forget. I'm over here going, okay, the mood is like diminishing over here. It's like, come on.
Yeah, I'd be that same person.
Yeah, the thing I remember when I first started living with my ex was at the beginning it was fun, have sex all the time, whenever we could get a chance. But then after a while, I don't know, it just having sex every day.
Well, it doesn't have to be every day.
Gets boring.
Yeah.
Well, he wanted it every day. That was just too much for me.
Oh. Well, I mean, it just depends on what works for the couple. But on the other side of that, I have to be fair and say there's times where he's sitting in bed waiting for me and I'm like out of the bathtub and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. So we both do it to each other.
Yeah.
It's not just him doing it. But I think it's for me, I happen to like the adventure of if you're feeling excited or, aroused or whatever, then just freaking concentrate on the task at hand because once you start doing all those other things, it can... detract
That's
from the
the
mood.
Comfort level, though, right? You get stuck in that comfort level. I'm already in the comfort level. I already feel comfortable.
But I think one of the reasons why Tim and I have a great sex life after 23 years is we kind of fight that comfort level overtaking our sex life. Because I think that if you get too comfortable, it's like it becomes a rut. You have to actually work on keeping that magic alive,
Yeah. Doesn't hurt to have buffer sex, too.
But what's buffer sex?
Somebody else.
Well, can't really argue with you there. Touche. I mean, even if we didn't, because we've obviously had long periods of time where there was nobody in our lives.
Mm-hmm. No, of course.
That's still the effort we put in. So
that's fair.
What I miss the most about not sharing a bedroom with someone, I mean, the sex is one thing. Obviously, it's no fun not having the person you want to have sex with to be there whenever you need it. But I definitely miss having the human warmth in the bed.
Yeah, I have to say that's
very true. One of the things I do right now is when I'm just feeling lonely, I have pillows. I have tons of pillows on my bed. I like more than I need.
Yeah.
It's funny because when the milkman comes over, it's like I have to peel off all the pillows off of my bed. And he's like, you have so many pillows.
That's funny.
But it's because I use the pillows. I hug the pillows at night or when I wake up, before I get up. it's like the pillows are a substitute for me. So I miss that more than I miss just being able to, like, just have sex with somebody.
So Monica, when you was your ex the first person you lived with?
Yes, he's the only person I've ever lived with till this day.
Okay.
I never lived with anybody else. So it'll be interesting if and when I ever do live with someone again.
You're gonna live with someone again, trust me. I saw Monica a couple weeks ago for the she came out to Reno, and when I saw her, I was like, look at this fucking saucy minx.
She looks different.
She
looks different.
So she's got she always had an hourglass figure, but now she's got a very accentuated hourglass figure. Hair was all down.
Nice.
She had herself all looking sexy and everything. I was like, look at this
Monica?
girl. Oh my God. I was
Look
like,
at that.
And he did. He said, "You look so different."
yeah.
I'm
I was like, oh my
"No."
God. And Em was like, Monica looked beautiful.
You knew you looked different.
Oh, I know. I know I look different because people have told me at work, like, your face looks different.
Yeah,
because
You're making, is it because, let me ask
that's
you
because
this.
some guy comes all over it now.
Okay, that's not where I was going, but I was going to say, is it just like, do you just feel more motivated to be more attractive, to do, like, I don't know, like, tell me why, from your perspective.
Well, I've definitely switched to a healthy lifestyle. I've mentioned it before, like, the way I eat is different. I'm not on a diet. It's not a diet. It's about eating healthy.
Oh, bullshit. It's because you're
choices.
getting laid. That's exactly what's
Right,
going on.
but no,
I don't wanna
that's
hear
what I was
none
going
about
towards.
this.
But
No, I was already losing weight before I started.
but when you're getting laid,
right?
though, don't you think more about your body and your appearance? I think that's what I was trying to
Yes.
get.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I feel more confident. Absolutely. Absolutely. I didn't like, I mean, I'll say I was like over 180 at my heaviest, and I did not like the way I feel. I didn't like the way my legs felt when I walked, or like how my stomach felt, overall. And I've lost 40 pounds.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
Over 40 pounds. And
That's
I'm
great.
going to lose 10 more. And I know I will now.
Oh, yeah, she
because I've
will.
learned
She will.
how to do it. So
How tall are you, Monica?
5'1". At 5'1", I'm supposed to be no more than 130.
Yeah.
I'm getting there.
That's great. Congratulations.
But yeah, I do feel
that's through effort. Like, that takes effort. It's not
it
automatic.
is. It took long. Yeah, it took a lot of lessons to learn how to eat.
I get it.
How not to eat. And sometimes, I have lapses where I go back to my old habits, where I eat too much, or I eat too many of the wrong things that aren't really good for me. And then I just, I say, okay, I'll just eventually I just like get back into the flow of what I know I need to do.
It's about balance, because, when I was eating totally healthy, I was boring as sin because I wouldn't make any bad choices. So it's about balance.
It definitely is about balance.
Yeah.
I have desserts. When I want it, if I'm at a party, I'm going to have the dessert because I love desserts. It's my thing. So it's just about balance. But thank you, Brian. Thank you for the compliment.
Oh no!
And then I dyed my hair differently too.
Yeah,
I'm letting it grow gray,
blonde streaks in it.
Nice.
For the listeners, I've decided I don't want to dye my hair black anymore. I want to go gray. So my stylist has streaked it blonde so that
that's what I did.
Yeah.
That's what I did before I transitioned. Yep.
So the transition it looks easier. So
it's much easier.
They
can also tone it. They can tone the blonde to be ash blonde, so it looks almost gray. So
and that's what I'm going to do the next time I go. I have an appointment next Friday. I'm going to tell her, can you please make it lighter so that it looks more gray? And people have told me that they like the gray.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they tell me too, but I don't believe it.
Well, you look good in gray, Brian. You look good with your gray, Brian.
Thank you, dear.
Well, gray is in now.
It is, Monica. I get compliments all the time on my hair.
I love
color.
your hair test.
It shocks me. It actually shocks me how many people compliment it. I'm like, wow, really? Okay.
I love your gray hair because it's like that nice white gray.
It's white. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's
like
not gray. It's more silvery. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's very silvery. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, it's shiny.
All right, we all look old and
anyway,
gray.
we got off topic.
I was like, all right, we all look old and gray. Let's get back on topic, or just close.
Yeah,
let's
go
with some closing
well,
remarks.
We were talking about the sex and living together, and I don't know if anybody else had anything to add about that topic.
Sex and living together?
My sex life hasn't changed in a sense. Like, we still have, whenever we want to have sex, we have sex. The kid goes to bed at 8:00.
Okay.
She's out by 8:30. And then we have the rest of the evening to do whatever we want. And yeah, it's been good. It's been good. It's been not
Good.
like you said.
That's
I
important.
agree. When you have sex every single night, you're at the point where like, oh my God, like this is ridiculous. I can't do this all the time, you know. And I mean, I guess like you said, Tess, it's the person's needs. But if you need sex every single night, that might you might need a psychologist afterward. I don't know. That's a lot of sex.
It depends. It depends on where your mind is.
Yeah,
I think it depends on
even
where
at
your
my
mind is,
peak,
really.
though. Like I remember when I was with my last, one. Like when I first met her, it was every single day. Like every time I saw it, it was like twice, 3 times a day, and I was exhausted. Exhausted,
Yeah.
It's like Jesus Christmas. This is
That's not sustainable.
yeah. It's not. It
Yeah.
wasn't even fun anymore. Now it just felt like a job. So,
Also, when you move in with somebody, you really learn about whether or not you're compatible night person versus morning person.
yeah,
And when's the best time to have that sex? Because that was a thing for Tim and I, because he's a morning person and I'm a night person.
Yeah.
So I would lay there at night going, I'd really love to be having sex right now. And then morning time is really when he's the most sexual. So we had to work that out.
yeah. And I like that the fact that I still have a separation of state with her when it comes to like. I don't want to see anything. Like we talked about this in the past, right? I'm very anal about that stuff. I don't want to see you use the bathroom. I don't want to know about it. I don't, we
You want the mystery.
we want the mystery.
Keep the
We
mystery.
keep the mystery. I don't know when she's in there. I don't care to know. She, doesn't care about when I'm in there. That it's all good. It's still, it's new, but we've been working at this. We've been, staying at each other's houses for the last, 6 months. So we're very well aware of each other. Anybody closing remarks?
I mean, I would say moving in with someone is hard, like as Brian
Yeah.
has described in his experience. And it takes a lot of compromise and a lot of flexibility
Yeah.
and understanding.
That's right. And like
And a lot of understanding the other person.
empathy.
Empathy and humility.
Very true.
Being humble at the end.
Yep.
Yeah, and I mean, it's really only going to work if the positives outweigh the negatives. And like you said, you have to compromise. You have to understand things through the other person's perspective. There's no way it's going to be all one person's way and work out.
Yep.
So,
Respect the person that you live with.
You have to both work at it.
yeah, at any age, you're going to deal with different challenges. There's always going to be challenges, but a lot of us think it's worth it.
Yep.
Right.
It's
So
true. And
you have to decide.
I would think it's worth it. I would say it's worth it if I ever get to that point, but it would be. Because like I said, hugging a pillow is not cool.
The late.
But I would rather hug a pillow than to be sleeping with somebody that I really do not like or is making me unhappy. So
quality over feathers, right?
yes, I'd rather have quality feathers.
The late, great Richard Jenny, the comedian, said it's really a toss-up between if you're single or together with somebody, between being lonely or annoyed.
Yeah. That's
You have
true.
to choose which one do you prefer. Do you want to be lonely or do you want to be annoyed?
Right.
Because you're gonna face both.
Yeah.
Yeah, my mom
if you're single,
always.
you're gonna have moments.
Yeah, my mom always used to say to me, it's better in Spanish. So it sounds better in Spanish, so I'll translate it into English.
Just say it in Spanish.
Es mejor estar sola que mal acompañada.
That means it's better to have a dick in your mouth than to sleep alone.
No, it's better to be alone than to be in bad company.
I was close.
Yeah, sure.
That's good. That's
Absolutely,
very wise.
Brian. Yeah.
I think we all agree with that, right? I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
Perfect sense.
I will say that if you're going to move in with somebody, no matter what age you're at, because you're going to be immature if you do it when you're younger, and you're going to, not have the patience and the wherewithal, and you might just say, fuck this, I'm leaving. It is what it is. We all went through that. But I'm just saying, when you move in with somebody, just know, technically, right, there is another person living there. It's not just about you. So you have to constantly remind yourself, we made a choice to do this, right? And there's going to be aggravations and speed bumps and all this other stuff. But at the end of the day, try to remember why you did it. You can't be, if you're looking for a roommate, that's different. You're looking for someone to share the bills with, that's different. Okay. But if you're moving in with someone because you care about them and you really want to enhance your life and try to enhance their life, understand there's going to be a lot of problems, and just listen to each other. Let them have their space when they're upset, and then screw them when they want to be screwed at the right moments.
Well, on those words of wisdom, yeah, I think that's our episode. That's our show for today on cohabitation. Shout out to producer D for making our show possible. What have your experience has been living with someone? We want to hear about it. The good, the bad, the ugly. Email us at 2.5chickspod@gmail.com or find us on Instagram at 2.5chicks. Better yet, come on the show and tell us. We are always down with part 2 episodes on any topic we've talked about. You can also choose a subject, be it mundane, sexy, conceptual, or otherwise. Come have a real conversation with us. Season 3 is well underway. Keep coming back for more episodes. Bye.